All right, what up, peeps? It's your boy, Zamilian. And we are back for another installment of Being. And today, we've got Nicolette Mashile in the house. What up, girl?
Hi, Zama.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm all right.
Hi, guys. My name is Nicolette Mashile, as Zama's already alluded to. I'm an ordinary girl from Bushbuckridge. Grew up in boarding schools, ended up in Reyes. So I'm quite, I would say independent, but I would also say at the same time very stubborn because I'm set in my ways because I didn't have much of guidance in terms of creating the ways to do things. I am a broadcaster, so I work in television. I co-host SABC One's Daily Theta. I am a business person.
Hello.
I run a company called Bunch of Winners, which we do brand activations and we do media buying for community media, press, television, and radio. And then I'm also known as the financial fitness bunny. Not exercise, oh my God, not at all.
But the financial exercise.
To exercise your money. So yeah, that's ultimately who I am. I'm going to be adding on author soon. I'm going to be adding on published game developer soon.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, that's
Levels.
me. I can be anything.
You know what I'm
Whatever
saying?
you want me to be.
There we go.
Yes.
Cool. So obviously you mentioned the part of, you didn't necessarily have guidance when you were younger,
Yeah.
in essence.
Yeah.
Obviously I know that story. Do you mind maybe just going in a bit deeper with regards to how you were brought up and how your parents weren't necessarily there and how the role that you played amongst your siblings at the same time?
So I grew up in a house, my parents were very strict, but also the one thing my parents really emphasized quite from a young age was education, right? So my sister and I at age, Bridget was 10, I was 8, we were shipped off to Nelspruit. And I say shipped off because we're basically shipped off. And it was really because my dad wanted us to get a good education. My mom was very, very depressed about the whole situation. We had to leave her by herself in Bushbuckridge. My parents had just been, not really necessarily newlyweds, but they were new in their marriage, and we left and we went to live in a flat in Nelspruit. My dad was supposed to live with us. But
Bad. The youth bad.
okay, anyway, and Maz was happy. I don't know where he was, but he was there for us in terms of, making sure we got food in the house. But he was not a hands-on dad, and I can understand, you move from being somebody that works full-time to now being the mom and the dad to two, and we're girls, so it becomes a little difficult for him. So basically, Bridget and I brought each other up. Okay, hold on. Bridget brought me up.
There we go.
Yo, guys, I used to pee in my bed. And she would have to push the mattress in the morning. And Bridget was shorter than me. I'm 8.
Okay.
I'm 8 at this age. I'm peeing in my bed.
Yeah.
Every morning, Bridget has to wake up and she's got to take the sheet off, and then she's going to push the mattress outside into the sun.
Yeah,
and now you must understand, she's shorter than me, so it looks weird. I look like this older kid who's bullying her, right? So Bridget and I grew up together for quite some time because my parents only had my next little sister, Violet, far later. Okay. That's a story for another day as to why that happened. And then, so I ended up in a flat, and then we moved from a flat. I ended up in my dad we moved to White River. I got shipped to boarding school, to a hostel. I lived in a hostel in a white school, Afrikaans children. And from there, I moved to high school. High school, I lived in boarding school, and then Hayes Basie van Wyk. From boarding school, I went to Rhodes. I lived in Reyes. From Reyes, I moved into a flat. Right. So I'm not the conventional child who grew up with her parents. And even though my parents, I was still in boarding school, other parents in their boarding school, their parents are very hands-on and all that. My parents were so chilled about everything. So we basically had to grow up very quickly. Cool. What role did I play in my siblings? None. Except for being that annoying little sister. No, I was absolutely. I remember this one incident. So before I went to boarding school or hostel in primary school in White River Primary, we lived in a house. So my dad was the municipal manager in White River. Cool. And where we lived, you passed a shop called Parkville. So my dad every day would give us 5 rand each, right? And he would say, leave 150 so that you can buy bread. It's late.
Yeah.
I would put my whole 5 rand.
Yeah.
But I knew Bridget would leave 3 rand.
Yeah.
So yes. So she literally would spend 150.
Yeah.
2 rand, so she can be left with the 3 rand that we were supposed to both contribute to, because she knew, Nicolette, it's late. Late. Yeah.
Right, cool. So I think the next question that I'm going to ask you, so I know the story of how challenging things were at varsity.
Oh, how I failed. I love how you say how challenging things were. Zama is like out here being politically correct. No, I failed. I failed my degree.
You know, so obviously myself as well. I went to Tux in 2011.
Yeah. No, I remember you failing.
Kicked my ass, you know what I'm saying? You know, I went to Wits the following.
And your dad still bought you a car?
Leave that out of the story. I went to Wits the following year in 2012, and my ass got kicked again.
Yeah.
You know, but besides me facing those challenges, I didn't give up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't get to the place where I was like, you know, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it was more of a redirection or a refocus rather than let me not do this anymore.
Yeah.
So on your side, how did you overcome this thing of, okay, I've been here for a while, I haven't got my degree, and how did it propel you to get to where you are today?
Look, I think one of the biggest things that happened with me when I didn't pass my degree at Rhodes is that I decided that Rhodes was difficult.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I wasn't the problem.
Can I tell you, that is exactly me. I told my dad, can I tell you, it's not hard. Like, this course is hard.
Yes.
I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
The course, no way is showing me playing.
Also, I was just like, Rhodes is not conducive for learning.
Yeah.
So I think because I decided on that, I wanted to then prove now that I'm not stupid.
Sure.
And I think that's what kept me going. And I remember also my dad saying to me, you are going to get outclassed by your friends. And that was very, that touched me. He said one day they're going to say to you, let's go to Mozambique for a holiday, and you won't have the right to make a decision because you are dependent financially on someone else.
Yeah.
Those words killed me, right? And that's probably what was one of the reasons why I said, you know what, I'm going back to school. I'm going to go and finish. And then I was like, no, let me take something simple, of course. I took sports management.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I was like, And then my dad was like, but it's a diploma though. You can't do a diploma. So I ended up doing also a degree. I did a social studies degree and majoring in advertising and PR. Okay. And that's when I realized I ain't stupid.
You know what I'm saying?
I failed because Rhodes was hard. So yeah, that's how I ended up. I mean, it was really just overcoming that adversity and saying, you know what, I know what I want for my life. And I'm very quick to make decisions, Me, if I see something, I think it's also important for people to have that discernment to know when something is not for you, when you're doing something because somebody. So for instance, I went to Rhodes to do law, not because I liked law, but because I was told that if you're not going to be a doctor, you're not going to do BCom, you're going to do law. And I went to do law, and in as much as I probably would have made a compelling advocate Nicolette Mashile.
You know what I'm saying, eh?
I know I would have made a compelling advocate, but I think for me, what was really important was me being able to do something that I enjoyed. I remember going to mock trials. Oh my God, what a boring courtroom. You gotta wait for someone else to finish talking. No, my friend, I'm not about that life. You know me, I interrupt people. Now I must wait for you to finish talking. Yeah. What if you're talking shit? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
You can't even interrupt.
I can't, and I have to say my learned friend, even if though I don't respect you.
Get out of here.
So that's probably why law actually, I mean, I tried when I came back to Johannesburg to do sports. I then decided maybe let me do sports law. You know, maybe I'll be good at that.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, and it was just like, not really. So I think it was a blessing in disguise. I probably would be a very boring person. I'm not saying lawyers are boring. I'm saying me as a lawyer. I would have probably been very boring.
Just to clarify.
Yes, and I think also I would have been very, and which is what is another thing that I realized about being able to go and do whatever it is that you want and leave whenever you want, is the ability to take risks. Yeah. I think a degree, had I gotten it when I should have gotten it, I would have been very risk averse. I wouldn't have done a lot of things because I would have been afraid. That job security thing is dangerous. It's a trap because you get stuck into believing that you earn a certain amount of money and now you cannot live without that specific amount of money. So I think it was a good thing that I actually didn't pass. And very quickly my dad cut me off. Yo, my dad is very hard on that thing about cutting you off financially, hey?
You know, I think on my side as well, same with you.
Yeah.
Like literally.
But you got a car.
No, leave that out of the situation. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So basically, first year, second year, after that, my dad literally said to you, I'm giving you one more chance.
At least you got given a chance. My dad was like, oh.
Yeah.
You don't want.
Oh, sharp.
Fine,
thanks.
You're grown now.
So I think obviously just me being put under that pressure as well, kind of extracted something within me that I didn't necessarily know that I had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to go through that pressure to get me to the place that I was.
Yeah.
And also speaking to your point of doing something that you love.
Yeah.
You know, all those years I thought I was doing something that I loved.
Yeah.
To find out actually it was just probably something that I was interested in, but it's not something that I love.
Or you got shaped into loving it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? People, and I find this a lot, where people will say things like, Nicolette will make a great lawyer because you talk too much or you do certain things a certain way. Nicolette will make a great this. And then you end up, it's like that thing about relationships. You know, sometimes you stay in a toxic relationship because people say you guys look good together. That is the biggest scam of life. Do not let people scam you into believing that you should do a certain thing because you look good. Just blame them. It's very difficult to bounce back because the motivation is no longer in you. It's now you need somebody to keep telling you. Also, it's difficult to become better because people build arrogance, guys. Sure. Arrogance is not, and I know some people, arrogance doesn't always come from within. Sometimes it's built or it's based on what other people say about you. If they say to you, oh, Nicolette is so good at finance, I'm gonna start getting arrogant about finance. And I'm gonna be like, I know this. This is my space, you know. Yeah. But there's still so much more to learn. And I think the only way you can mitigate those kind of things is if you yourself are doing and believing in things that you believe in, and not based on what the external factors say to you. Right. So I mean, geez, failing roads was an eye opener because I was spoiled. And then my dad cut me off. Yeah. And then I remember, my second job, so I worked as a teacher. I was earning a good salary as a teacher, funny enough. Teachers earn good salaries, don't yatta them. So and then I changed jobs, so I knew I couldn't be a teacher. I was like, I'm influencing people's children's lives. I don't think I'm a great influence on people's children's lives. So then I remember applying to work in an advertising agency by Due, actually a PR agency at the time. Mind you, I had no qualification. Yeah. I wrote a letter, I sent it to 600 emails, and I was like, one of them is going to catch, right? Yeah. I did a nice pray and pray approach, and one of them did catch. Yeah. And she gave me a job, but my salary got cut by half. Because I was obviously an intern. And for the first time in my life, I could not afford my life. Okay. And I called my dad, and my dad was like, no, not a problem. Me, I'll give you money. But I'm buying your groceries myself. And that nigga used to buy me maize meal, potatoes, and soup. Standard. He said to me, you don't have money, you can't eat meat. You don't have money. People who have money eat meat. You don't have money, so you can't eat meat. Yeah. And it was a good lesson. You know, people will think that my dad, in his approach, is very, very strict and maybe, you know, touches on abuse.
But I think at the end of the day, it built you to become the person that you are today.
Absolutely,
you know I think we shouldn't take that for granted, just as you said.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the next point that I want to ask as well is obviously you mentioned that you became a teacher at some point. You know, you mentioned that obviously I don't think people know as well that you used to do like netball training.
Everything.
Well, and I think now obviously you in the financial field. Yeah. You know how?
Well, I mean the education field in financial. Yes.
How did you get to this place? Is it based on the fact that you obviously believe that whatever you do, you'll put your full effort into it and you can do it? Yeah. Or is it because, you know...
Listen properly.
Guys, let me tell you something about me. In the next 2 years, you're going to see Zama interviewing me again. And we're going to be talking about how I'm in the medical field. Anything, no maini, pause I am. We're in. My biggest, funny enough, when I started doing TV and I was trying to break into the television space, because I'd done a bit of community TV, this lady came to me and said, oh, I think you'd make a great television host. Let's try and get you on to the big stations. Yeah. And she said to me, can you tell me why you want to do TV? And she was so disappointed in my answer because I was like, I've never wanted to do TV. So, I've never wanted to do TV. And she was so disappointed. And I said, no, you don't understand something about me. What I touch needs to turn into gold. It doesn't matter what it is. I will make a great street sweeper because that is my job at the time. And if it impacts life specifically, I will give my all. You know, sometimes I do it at the detriment of my own life. You know, I find that, and I tell people, like, I'm so tired because every single time people see me, the first thing they want to ask me is about their finances. And I'm like, listen, I have a life. And I've got a personal, what the hell? I'm funny, okay? Ask me a joke. Like, ask me other things, guys. So I think that's the thing. I will change anything, you know, I don't mind changing my life to do other things. So that for me is really, really important. Being able to put my best foot forward at all times, that is what's the most important thing for me.
All right, cool. I think the last question that I'm going to ask is
no, this can't be the last question. We just started. You haven't even gotten into who I am as a soul.
That's what you spoke about in the beginning. Just like you said.
I did.
Just like you said earlier on. Like literally, when somebody asked about who you are, you decided to tell me that. You should have gone in deeper about who you are.
Go deeper, pasta.
Go deeper.
Yeah, ask me your last question, Zara.
I think the last question that I genuinely ask, you know, there's somebody out there, you know, back in Bushbuck Ridge, there's somebody out there in KZN, there's somebody in Gauteng, you know, that are genuinely aspiring to become something. They want to go out there, become a TV presenter. They want to go out there, work on radio. They want to go out there and do something, but they lack that sense of confidence within themselves. And also, they might not necessarily have the background in terms of, let's say, finances to get them to that place. What advice would you give to that kind of a person? Basically, just to go out and just do what you believe that you can do, despite where you find yourself, in essence.
So I think the most important thing, which I learned very early in my life, one thing, after failing my degree, my mom and I sat and we were like, you are now a university. In fact, she did a college dropout. I don't know where she gets that name from because that's not a South African thing to say, right? It's not Ubuntu. Don't do that. but the one thing my mom said to me post that conversation was, never give anyone a reason to say you're not good enough.
Sure, come on.
And I think for me, it's important for you to do what you need to do to make sure that nobody can pigisa you. Nicolette didn't study finance, but she knows the finance. Do you get it? Yeah. I didn't do a financial degree. I ran a whole financial agency. I've built my entire brand around finances right now. I don't have a financial degree. Yeah. So for me, it's important to never give people a reason to say, but he's not confident enough. He's not this, he's not that, she's not this, she's not that. They must say after all that, but she's the right person for the job.
Sure, 100%.
I think that's really important, and I think it also involves you taking interest. And I'll give you an example. When I started doing assertiveness, one of my favorite interviews that I did in assertiveness was, assertiveness was great because it was on community media. Yeah. Community media could ask anything. No one was telling you in your ear, because I don't ask that. So one of the things that I asked this gentleman, he's a rapper, and he wanted to get into, he wanted his music to grow and all that. So I said to him, okay, so are you being played on radio stations? He's like, nah. He's like, no, man, we're not there. I said, okay, where do you stay? He's like, no, he stays in Tembisa. I said, sharp. Who is the music compiler at Tembisa FM? Kasi FM, it's called. Is it Kasi FM? No, Kasi FM is in Spread View. But Tembisa, whatever, one of those, the local radio station. So who's the music compiler there? Esh, my sister. I said, so you don't know who the music compiler is? Okay, who's accepting music? He's like, no, there's an email address. But who is the person who's going to open that email address? Do you know? No. Have you picked up the phone to call them and ask? No. Okay, so then you don't want to be on radio. Basically. I think sometimes, as people, we don't stop to think, we see, how do I get into what it is that I want to get into? What is the process that a person needs to go through to be able to get themselves listed on a radio station's music? It's those small things that I think it's very important to think about and to understand. You need to know who the music compiler is if you want to get into a radio station. You need to know who's accepting music. You need to pick up the phone and call. You need to go to the radio stations. And the reason why I started off with the community station of where the person stays is because that is the easiest one. I'm not saying rock up at Metro FM, one music compiler, do you understand? So I think that for me is really, really important, that people start to take a little bit more interest in what it is that they're doing. So and the other second thing, I think probably the last thing that I want to say to people, so I'll give you an example. When I started, how I ended up on Daily Theatre, it's quite an interesting story. In actual fact, Daily Theatre replaced Shift.
Okay.
If you are old, you'll remember there used to be a show called Shift, right? On
yes,
SABC One with Aaron.
Okay.
And Daily Theatre replaced Shift. When Daily Theatre replaced Shift, they already had 2 presenters that they had that I had auditioned. So this is 2016, eh? Cool. I just left my job, when Daily Theatre started. No, 2017. Daily Theatre started. Yeah. 2017 Daily Theatre starts, right? When Daily Theatre starts, I become one of their inserts. Okay. So when they come and they shoot at home. Yeah. But when they send me the email,
I'm loving this.
They send me the email, "Hi Nicolette, we're doing a show on first year failures. Yeah. Can we come and do an insert with you at your house? You don't have to come to studio." I'm like, no problem. But in the same email, I asked the question, when will you make me your presenter? Hectic. Right?
There we go.
I didn't know about Daily Theatre, if I'm going to be honest. Sharp. They come, they shoot with me. It's the lower level people. Yeah. It's not, the EP is not going to come, the director is not going to come, no problem. I then decide, you know what? Even if it's not Daily Theatre, I'm going to end up on SABC. Here is a production company that I now know, that's SABC shows. What do? I make it my business to watch Daily Theatre now. I watch Daily Theatre. I'm not watching for the show. I'm not watching for the content. I'm watching for the credits when they go up.
There we go.
What do I want to see? I want to know who the director is. I want to know who's the EP. Because those are the people that make decisions at the end of the day. I wrote his name down. I went to Facebook, message on Facebook.
What? There we go.
And that's really his name, Tabo. Yes. He didn't respond. Yeah. I was not moved. I said to him, please watch me on assertiveness. If you don't have a chance to watch me on assertiveness, here's a link to a YouTube video of me being on assertiveness. I don't want to make it difficult for him. I want it to be organic. Because the other thing we do is we say to people, I need help with this. Here's my email address. Email me or call me. No, you need help. You must be the one who makes it easier for the person.
Do you interact with your content?
Exactly. Granted, he probably did watch my stuff because in June, I got a call to say, we want you to come to Daily Theatre, we just want to see. He didn't say anything about me being a presenter. I went to Daily Theatre. The topic was black tax. I knew nothing about black tax. Mind you, 2017, guys, I know nothing about black tax, but yet I'm the financial biden.
2020.
Right?
Look at her now.
2017, I go do a show on black tax. The confidence, you would not think it's somebody who doesn't know anything about black tax. Pendula.
I love that.
Nothing happened. No email, no call. September. Finally, I get a call from TMF. They're like, hey, Nicolette, we're looking to audition a couple of people. We're looking at different, having a list of different presenters. Cool. Didn't know it was for Daily Theatre. I go and audition. I auditioned maybe 6 rounds. Yeah. Other thing that people think that the SABC doesn't audition its presenters. We audition, it's real, and they ask you some real questions. One of my questions that they asked me that I'll never forget is how many judges sit in the Supreme Court of Appeal. I mean, really? Really, guys? Anyway, no word comes. My audition results come end of October. To say in November, we need you to come to the show.
Sure, that's awesome.
I go in to fill in for this girl who's pregnant. I believe when I'm there that I'm filling in, but I'm not behaving like a person who's filling in. It is my show now. I'm on the show, it is my show.
Taking over now.
I gave it my best. I was terrible. Remember that I had done community TV. I didn't have a mic. I didn't know how to do live TV. This is live TV. Didn't have a mic when I was doing assertiveness at community TV. But every day I came home, I'd put a thingy in my ear, I'd ask my mom to call me. She would be talking to me here and I would be doing the show.
Okay.
Because I needed to get better. Yes. I knew she was coming back. Pregnancy is not a disability. Yeah. She knew she was coming back. Sharp. I still said, you know what? Now Norma, I don't get, but they don't retain me, but they now know me.
Okay, cool.
I was happy to leave Daily Theatre. Next year comes, 2018 comes. 2018, I get called again in January. Yeah. But come, she's still on maternity leave. I'm like, no, my nipoza yam. Kagena. I did the show. Later on I think in March, I saw a message to say she's no longer coming back. Cool. And now you're the new host.
That's awesome. That's really
so I think what I'm trying to say to people is be on the dance floor. Because opportunity finds you on the dance floor. It's not going to come fetch you on the sidelines.
Yeah.
No one is going to fetch you for an opportunity, because remember, you must also be top of mind at all times. You do digital media, you know this. Yes, there might be somebody that you bump into, hey Zama, I'd like to work with your clients, great stuff. Yeah. But the day you need to put on a campaign, it's who is top of mind. Exactly. It's not about who sent you their CV, who you know is really good. Who is top of mind, who is accessible, who is easy for us to get right now. True. And that's the most important thing, is that you must always be top of mind in the space that you want to be in. I think that's really important. But I think the last thing that I can say is believe in yourself. And you must manifest things that you want in your life. I've manifested. The day I started writing my book, I said, this is going to be the top-selling book in this country when it comes to personal finance. When I created my book, my game, I said, this game is going to change people's lives.
Speak it.
Do you understand? When I started Financial Bunny Gym, I said, this gym is going to change people's lives.
Speak it.
I know exactly where I'm going to be in the next 10 years. I know, I'm very clear. I can see myself. I know which house I'm going to be living in. I know which car I'm going to be driving. I know where my private jet's going to be parked. I know these things, you know what I mean? So I think it's also important for you as a person to believe in yourself, know what it is that you want to do, but at the same time, don't have empty belief. When we talk about people that have empty pride, it's people that have pride but we can't back it up. It's the same thing with belief. Belief can't be empty. Belief needs to be backed up by some action. Yes. You know, it doesn't make sense for you knowing what it is that you want to do but not knowing how you're going to do it. I think that's really important.
All right, cool. Thanks very much.
It's a pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
All right, guys. Now, so thanks very much for joining us on this episode with Nicolette. I think just as she said, just to wrap it up, that definitely whatever you do, just believe in yourself. Whatever you're going out to do as well, make sure that you do all that you are. So that basically the next time that somebody has to reference someone, they've got you at the top of the mind. Why? Because they know that when they gave you the opportunity to do what you wanted to do, that you gave it all that you had. You know, so yeah, just as she said, you know, believe in yourself, you know, because the first person that needs to believe in you is you. So yeah, God bless, God is love, have a great day.
Raga raga.